so it looks really blended out. And the top, you won't even see like where it divides, and you're gonna see like the top. We're gonna trim just the edges, and I'm gonna trim it down so that it looks really nice and comb over. So you'll see it like at the end of by the end of the haircut, you're gonna see the real nice comb over, so it's gonna look really nice and clean on the sides. Okay? Huh? They call it a gentleman's cut, you know. So well, that's what I'm gonna do with him. Last time we kind of kept it a little bit low, you know. I think this time I'm gonna blend it out. How's it going? For a haircut? Yeah. It's gonna be till like 10:30. You know, last time we kept it very low. This time what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna blend out a little bit more just to make it look a little bit more cleaner. Okay. Any questions? Okay. The tools that I'm going to be using are the same tools that I always tell you guys. I'm going to use my Masters, my 00, which is my T-outliner Andes, and we're also going to use a Speedmaster 2, and we're going to use a wall. Those are the 4 machines I use for every haircut that I use, and I've always used them like that. I'm going to use them in the same way, same place, same style, same stuff that I do all the time. Okay? Do a little bit of scissor work on top and blend out in the sides. Okay, so let's get started. The tools that I have out here, of course, my blade. I'm going to use these 3 clips for my wall. I'm going to start out with my 4, bring it up a little high, then drop down to my 3, to my 2. And my 2 is going to be my base. That's where I blend in. And you guys remember the base is going to be, the base is very important when you guys are blending because that one tells you where to stop. You know, that's your red light. That's the one that tells you your fade or your taper or whatever you're doing should end right there. And then your 00, where you start in the bottom, tells you where it begins. So from the 00 to a 2, that's your blend. That's considered the part that's called the fade. Everything else be on top of that is the top of the hair, and then below that will be the bald area. Okay? So let me get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with my 4. And the reason I tell you guys to put the 4 is because the 4, it still leaves it long enough so that if you're going to blend down with scissors, the 4 still blends out with the scissors on top. You know, the 3 is too short, and when you try to pick it up, it goes in between your fingers, and you're not going to be able to blend into it. So the first thing I want to do is bring the hair down to its natural form. Okay. Start with the 4, but always start, anytime you start clips, always start with clips open. Okay? Never start closed. Start with the 4 open, give myself room.
Are you putting the 4 up to your high point? Or
yeah, I'm putting my 4 up to pretty much where my crown area is at. And right here in the back, I'm going to drop it a little bit, but I'm not dropping it in size. I'm just dropping it because you got to think that the back of the head drops itself, you know, the shape of it. So you got to kind of follow it a little bit. Not only that, but we want to keep a little bit of length here so that we can actually get this part to comb over. The last time we cut it, I think a little shorter, and his hair naturally spikes up if it doesn't have length. So that's one of those things where you learn from your mistakes, you know. And I want to create a nice straight line right here. Again, this line is very important because it tells you where your fade is going to stop. And you want to, and not only that, but the straighter it is, the easier it's going to be for me to blend it out. So this is my 4. Now I'm going to close it. Well, this is a 4.5 because I had it open. Now I close it and I put my 4.
Todo lo que había puesto el 4:30 ahora está poniendo
Le
el 4.
puse, sí, donde puse las 4:30, ahora voy a poner, voy a poner las 3. Nomás voy a tratar de parar como menos de media pulgada abajo de la 4:30. Okay. Then I'm going to drop down to my 3. Open. Voy a poner la 3 abierta. And I'm going to stop right below where my 4 is at. And you guys remember throughout this whole time, what you're looking at is the blade, not up here. You know, don't get tricked by thinking that this is the one that's going to tell you where the fade stops. What's cutting is the blade, not up here. So sometimes when I go like this, it might look like it's coming all the way in here, but in reality, what's cutting is back here. Now I'm going to close it and drop down to my 3.
You're hitting with the 3, Omar?
Yeah, this is a 3 right now.
3 close?
Yeah. Yeah, first I do my round all the way open, and then I close it, and I come back and do it the same place, just drop it a little bit more. And then my last one, which is my base, I'm going to put my 2. First I start open, and I do the same thing that I did with my 3. I drop it a little bit. You know, and I was telling the night class yesterday that one of the things that I'm going to start doing, you know, because I really want to make sure you guys understand what having a procedure, how important it is. For all the new students that are really coming in, what I'm going to start having do is when you guys get to your 250 hours to start cutting hair, 200. As you guys are getting closer to 200, you know, and one of the things that I tell you guys is by the time you get to 200, you should have already had a structure of cutting hair. You know, you should have already like learned. You know, you have 200 hours. That's like 2 months of being here, looking around, learning when I do the demos, getting the handouts that I do. You know, to build a structure and say like, okay, you know, you gotta memorize it. You know, and again, like I told you guys last time, you know, barbering, it's a game of memorization. You gotta memorize your steps to make it easier. So what I'm gonna start doing is before you guys, when you guys tell me, okay, I have 200 hours and you evaluate it on the shave and the facial, I'm gonna give you guys a written test. On the written test, you're gonna have three or four different scenarios. And I want you guys to explain to me what you're gonna do. So I'll give you a paper. You're gonna say scenario number 1. Guy walks into your barber shop and tells you, I want a 4 and a taper. What will you do? You know. And on that paper, what you're gonna do is I just want you to write the steps. That's it. Like, what would you do in that steps? You know, because once you memorize the steps to that point where you're able to know and write down the procedure, that means you memorized it. And that's the first part of, you know, getting the haircut the right way. So for all those guys, for all you guys that are close to 200 hours or about to start cutting, I would really recommend you guys to start memorizing a structure for cutting hair. You know, and I don't mean just using my structure. I mean, you know, if you already know how to cut hair and you're used to using, let's say, the walls and you do everything with the walls, write me that section out. I just want to know you have something that you're going by. Okay. So I brought my haircut down to my 2, so I'm done with this one. Okay, so now I'm gonna start from the bottom, and I'm gonna meet up to the top. First thing I'm gonna do is put my bottom base, which is my 00. This one's the one that's gonna tell me where my fade is gonna start. Okay, now I'm gonna come up. Are you keeping this?
I can take it off.
Okay, that's gonna be my 00. That's the beginning of my fade. So now I have from here to where my 2 is at, which is about here, to blend out. Since I already have the outliner in my hand, I want to come back and clean my taper lines up for right now so I don't have to waste time. And right here around the ears, it's very important for you guys to have a support. So what I do is I put my finger here as a support. It's kind of like one of those things where to draw the circles, you know how they put the pin in the middle and you just do a circle around it? It's the same thing that you're doing with your machine. You put your fingers as support and then you use your hand to go around it. And that's what's going to give you an easier arc around the ear. I'm going to do my line in the back.
You're doing it low or you're doing regular or you're doing it high?
I'm doing it, the ball part, I want it a little bit low, but I'm going to extend it, the fade. I'm going to bring the fade up. So you'll see a longer fade, but the bald area, it's only going to be in the bottom part.